So my question is, in a developing nation such as India, okay, in a developing nation such as India, is it justified to spend so much of money, like 10,000 crore rupees, on missions such as Gaganyaan? That is the question. You have to write an answer. You might say yes or no, that is up to you. But you have to justify it. Why are you saying yes, it is okay to spend so much of money? If you're saying no, why is it not, why are you saying no? What is the justification for that? It is up to you. Don't get deviated and explain more on Gaganyaan. The question is, see, that is what some people will do. They will write half a page or almost a page explaining Gaganyaan. This happens. In that exam moment, what happens is that all of a sudden you read the question that you don't have enough time. Oh, you will see Gaganyaan. You will straight away start writing Gaganyaan. That happens. That happens. Many a times it happens. You have to understand what is the demand of the question. The demand of the question, I should have mentioned analyze in the end of the question. That is how questions are framed. Okay, analyze. So whenever there is analysis, you have to kind of counter it in two ways. So one of the best ways to start the answer is by explaining what is Gaganyaan, but keep it very short, 2 or 3 lines. In 3 lines, you have to finish what is Gaganyaan. Gaganyaan is nothing but a manned space flight mission where India is going to send astronauts into space. Enough. You may write low Earth orbit, but after that it is enough. Nothing more to write about Gaganyaan. Okay. Then merits about why are we spending so much of money? It will boost research and development, correct? More employment opportunities. Gaganyaan is expected to generate more than 15,000 jobs. Increase competition within India and outside India and among nations. Yes. And motivation for the next generation. Exactly. So there are schemes like Inspire scheme, STAR scheme, that is by the central government, where the government actually wants people, youngsters, to take up science, especially pure science, like such as BSc. There are schemes which are actually meant to encourage students to take up science as your core subject. So these kind of things, say for example, tomorrow if we launch Indian Air Force officers, that is astronauts into space from India itself, don't you think it will inspire so many students to take up aeronautical engineering, for example? I'll also become an astronaut, or I will also contribute to something like this. It will inspire the next generation, the future generation, to take up science, which is required. That is a very good point. Then it acts as a yes, one day we might have space station. It will contribute to not just to space station, but to future space missions. Tomorrow we might also send humans to moon. So this is the first step in future human space missions for India. Then anything else? Correct. Correct. That is actually also one of the objectives of sending humans. We'll also study what happens in human space travel. And less dependency on other countries for space. Correct. Because last time when we sent Rakesh Sharma, to outer space, who sent them? It was Russia. We took Soviet help to send Rakesh Sharma to outer space. So dependence on other countries reduces. Launch vehicle. Another important point is the development of GSLV Mark III. So GSLV Mark III has been developed, which is going to be used for Gaganyaan. What is the other advantage of it? We no longer have to depend upon other space companies or space organizations to send heavy satellites. To send heavy satellites to outer space. Correct? So we have our own space vehicle. Anything else? Okay. Now, at least I will try to give another way of writing an answer. All the points that you've given is very much valid. You can use it. Okay. Now, the other way that you can actually approach this question is that you can start with writing about the science and technology policy in India. So we have science, technology, and innovation policy in India. Okay, so the science, technology, and innovation policy says that the objective of science and technology should be to place India among the scientific superpowers, among the top scientific powers in the world. Okay, so space sector is one such area which will help and contribute in placing India among the top 5 scientific powers in the world. So therefore, missions such as this will help us in achieving the objectives of our science, technology, and innovation policy. Now the question is focusing on, is it justified when it comes to spending these huge amounts of money, 10,000, 13,000 crore rupees. So you have to justify by saying is that this amount that we are spending should be seen as an investment for future. Okay, we may not be, the thing about science and technology is that we are not able to see the benefits immediately. For example, tomorrow if you launch, what do you say, social welfare, like food program for something, immediately that money is used for food. You are able to see the result. But the thing with science and technology is that it will take a couple of years, maybe even decades for the results to be seen. Okay, so this should be seen as an investment which will benefit India and maybe even the world in different dimensions. Okay, for example, economy. Okay, as he said, it will help us in generating employment. It will help us in generating revenue. It will help us in space commercialization, that is new space. Private sector will be involved in Gaganyaan. Okay, it will help us in GDP, generating more revenue. Tomorrow, it will help in space tourism. It will help in space tourism. It will help in spillover effects. I told you about CARE. Okay, so CARE is something which has been developed as part of this. It will once again help in future missions. I told you about KAS yesterday, ceramic polymer. Ceramic polymer which was developed for space mission, but it has several other advantages and applications in other areas. We have something known as Kalam Raju stent. Kalam Raju stent, which is used to treat coronary heart diseases. So these stents which are placed inside the heart, okay, these blood vessels, they're very expensive. But all these machines, like this was basically from missile technology, but still Dr. Abdul Kalam, along with cardiologist, developed this KR stent, which reduced the cost of stents in India by using stainless steel stents, which were meant for in missiles and rocket launches. Okay, so these are all other ancillary advantages that we do not realize directly. Okay, so apart from that, in international relations, for example, it will boost international relations. We can collaborate with other nations. We will become one of the 4 nations to have sent humans to space. So as he said, India will be one of the space powers in the world, and it can help us in boosting our soft power. And as he said, it can also help in India helping out or lending a helping hand or contribute to space missions of other nations. Okay, defense. This can or may help us in Space Force in the future. Your Gaganyaan mission and human space flight mission may help us in Space Wars, which is the future, which is another front. Until now, what was it? It could be land, water, or air. So this is the 4th front. This is the 4th front. See, you do have several other like cyber warfare, etc., etc. But this is another front in your warfare, space warfare, where we might have to develop technology. So we are actually developing. A Defense Space Agency has already been set up on, with respect to Defense Ministry. A Defense Space Agency has already been set up. So this will help in future space wars. Okay. Then what? Now you have written the benefits. I think you have enough number of benefits now. It is all around, so you can write for more than 1.5 pages. But will you end there? Will you stop there? No. You might also write drawbacks. You must also write drawbacks. Just 1 or 2. See, nobody is going to criticize Gaganyaan. Nobody is going to say that Gaganyaan is bakwas. Beda namge Gaganyaan. Yake kharch madbek. Nobody is going to write that. Correct? Everyone is writing on the same lines that we have discussed. Benefits they will write. but also write 2 or 3 drawbacks. For example, Gaganyaan has been taken up for so many years that over a period of time, the cost has escalated so much. So we must ensure that whenever we take up such investments, we must ensure that it is completed in a time-bound manner so that expenditure does not increase. Okay. Also, these kind of missions may contribute to climate change, more and more pollution. It also results in only those people who have access to good quality education being benefited from this, with respect to employment or with respect to research and development or opportunities to be involved in this. Whereas those who do not have opportunities, the means to get access to it may be not benefited. So these are 2 or 3 drawbacks that you can think of and just write. Okay, then you can conclude that, however, the benefits are more when compared to the drawbacks, and hence we should support such programs more in India. Something like that on these lines you can write, and you may end the answer.